Under this sheet contains one of the most vile, one of the worst Transformer toys ever created. Under this sheet is my 250th video review. This figure is so bad, it actually set part of my house on fire. This figure is a monstrosity, and it is a testament to how bad Transformers engineering can be. That's right, this time we are taking a look at Transformers Armada Optimus Prime. Before we get into Prime proper, I wanted to talk about his little minicon here, Sparkplug. Now, Sparkplug is a nice little, I guess it's supposed to be a knockoff of a Lamborghini, but I gotta say, I think the vehicle mode works really well. You will notice that unlike the normal version, there is actual panel lines on this version. I did that several years ago using a 0.05 millimeter drafter's pen, which I use for all my panel lining needs. You can pick it up at any AC Moore or Michaels. They're in with the pens and markers. This little guy isn't so bad. In vehicle mode, I actually really dig him, and I added the panel lines simply because this figure was solid yellow. There was no detailing on him whatsoever. To transform him, we're going to start by just splitting these back parts off like that. Then coming under here and push the front down and then flip it out like that. This part will form the head, so we'll just rotate that in, rotate the entire section around, flip out the feet. And here we have Sparkplug, or as jokingly on TF Wire, some people called him Buttplug. He is a minicon, and he has absolutely no posability whatsoever, other than the ball joint in his arms, which you can see there. That's about all he has for movement. His face, which you can see, is very little detail. It's just silver, but on the whole, he doesn't look so bad. I have to give Dreamwave credit when they did the Armada comic. They made Sparkplug look a lot better in the comic than he does in the toy. So, now that we've taken a look at the little Sparkplug guy, who, like I said, isn't all that bad, let's go ahead and look at the rest of the toy. Here we have Transformers Armada Optimus Prime in vehicle mode. This is the Supreme figure that was released actually a little bit late into the Armada line. I would say around Wave 2 or 3. Simply because, I say that simply because I can never find him. I can never get a hold of him. Yet I somehow now have ended up with 3. There was the first one that caught on fire, the second one, which I got as a gift, and the third one, which is this one, was the replacement to the one that caught on fire. If you've ever listened to TF Wire, then you know that this thing, when it transforms, caught on fire in my bedroom. Not good design. Okay, so let's go ahead and first take a look at the trailer itself. The trailer itself is probably one of, if not the stupidest trailers. Yes, it is a little bit more coherent than the Energon trailer, which was nothing more than a parallelogram, but this trailer just does not work. One, it's aerodynamically bullshit. Two, I've never seen a tractor trailer with treads. I've never seen a tractor trailer with a set of tank treads. I do like the coloring though. The off-gray, blue, and with the Autobot symbol on the side is nice. The design just irks me. It just bothers me. But the design is necessary for the transformation sequence and what the trailer can do later, which we'll get into. Now, in this mode, he does have 4 minicon ports, which are up here on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is colored gold because it apparently does something. What that does is I have no clue, and it's not in the directions either of what it does. Underneath, there is a large pack here for 4 AA batteries. On the side here is an IR receiver, which we'll get into here in a second. And then on the sides here, in the first transformation mode, it has 2 storage units which you can store minicons in. Why? Well, we'll see in a second. So let's go ahead and put the trailer off to the side and talk about Prime in vehicle mode himself. Now, Prime in vehicle mode is actually quite nice. I actually really like this vehicle mode. It is a beefy, big, powerful semi-truck or tractor-trailer, and it looks good. But there are some glaring problems with this thing. First of all, fists. Giant fists sticking out of the back of the vehicle mode. The other problem are these guns. These clear plastic guns which you just tap a few times and they fall off. I actually left this one on with the rubber band that came in the box. I originally did that with this one, but the rubber band broke recently as I was planning for this review. So that's another thing that really irks me. Why are these clear? Well, they're clear for a specific reason, which we'll get into after we get him transformed. So let's go ahead and get into the transformation sequence, but there's something a little bit special about this transformation sequence. So I've got the trailer here in front of me because this actually has an automatic transformation, and that occurs when you transform Prime from vehicle mode to robot mode. In front of Prime, right here, is a sensor that, I'm going to zoom in here to see if you can see it. There is actually an IR projector here, right here in the cab, and then there's an IR sensor right down here on the trailer. So when you go and you transform Prime, which as you can see I'm doing now, I'll just rotate what will be the hands down, and then you pop the grill off and fold that down to expose the robot head. The IR sensor will activate once I split these 2 pieces apart. Or it should activate. There we go. And here we have Optimus Prime's base mode. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, to transform it. And here we have Prime in robot mode. So let's go ahead and take a look at the base first. The base comes with a big-ass gun, which we'll give to Prime. It has a deployable missile shooter here on this one leg. Over here on this side, if you plug in a minicon, I believe right here, you have a little pop-out turret. And then this is the side of the... This side has a space for a minicon again. This leg has nothing. This side has this little minicon port, which does nothing. Then, on this side, you can slide a minicon in, and there's a little slider here to shoot it out. You've got a port right here, which, if you plug in a minicon, you get sound effects when you push them back. You've got this little ramp for launching minicons, but even though there's nothing to launch it, you've got this spot up here, and then up here, if you push this little button, you have this little port that pops out for no apparent reason whatsoever. Getting him back into vehicle mode is a real pain because this thing will just pop up and you've got it dangling everywhere. As base modes go, this sucks. I mean, this is just stupid. Plain and simple. It serves no point, it takes up way too much real estate on the shelf, or as you can see, on a full-size desk, and it's dumb. I mean, it's just plain stupid. Okay, yes, you've got, let's see, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spots where you can put a Minicon. If you count these two, that brings it up to 11. But why would you? Why would you? I've yet to figure that out. There's no point in posing a Minicon on this thing that you call a base at all. Power Master Prime. Okay, that was a base. It made sense. You could put Micromasters everywhere over the thing. That's what they were going for, I think. But they clearly failed with this monstrosity. So let's put the base off to the side, and let's concentrate on the Prime figure. Now, the Prime figure isn't all that bad, but it's not that great either. As you can see, he is a decent size, but there's one major problem. He's really lacking in posability. He can spread his legs like that. He's got posability there on his leg, on his knee, but because this section is stuck together, you really can't pose him in any particular way. He has no ability, he can turn his head, but he has no ability to see over his massive shoulder pads. Arms rotate this way, and then he's got a double elbow joint, but that disappears once you slide this part up for his arms to deploy. So then he's got even less posability. He's more of a Sentai, a Super Sentai figure in this form than anything else. So the point of him is really kind of moot. He does have a big gun in this mode, but the gun is severely hampered because of one reason. Even though it looks cool, and it's a pretty big gun, which is befitting of Prime, there's this part right here which slides around because it doesn't stay in place. Now this gun would normally be deployed right up here on the second level of the base, but this just makes it almost unusable. I mean, he can actually, if you finagle it a little bit, well, he can sort of hold the gun like this, but what's the point in that? So, oh, and he doesn't even have light piping. But I think he does have an option where if you push this button on his head, his mouth plate moves, or his face plate moves. Whoop-de-frickin-do. So, we're going to return him to vehicle mode. Simply because, oh wait, I forgot one thing, I'm sorry. The little plastic bits, these plastic side bits, the pipes, the reason they're clear is because if you put them together, they form a gun. Then if you put them in one of his fists, if I can remember which fist it is, or I'm sorry, in one of his fists in a different mode, it glows. So let's go ahead and get him in that mode. We'll just return him to his original form. Oh yeah, that's another reason that this figure sucks. These joints right here are so loose, this pops off all the time. Oh, and I forgot to show you his Matrix of Leadership, which randomly appears at the end of Armada for no apparent reason whatsoever. So, we'll return him to partial vehicle mode. We'll put his fists back and then have them pointing directly down like that. Now, we'll split apart these legs, and that should send a signal. That should send a signal to the trailer. Wrong signal. Oh, there we go. Now it's unfolding again. And the trailer stands up to form Pants Mode. So Pants Mode is, well, what can I say? Pants Mode is pretty lame, but we'll get into that in a second. So, welcome to pants mode. Now, remember when I split Prime apart like that? What we'll do is come in here, fold these down, pull the legs out, twist them around, form arms. We'll just do that over here. And then when we put him down, his head will automatically pop up. And I said automatically pop up and make noise and not do what you want it to do, so I'm going to take that, fold it up like that, and try this again. There we go. And here we have Armada Optimus Prime. And I don't even know where to begin with this. First off, that missile in his leg fires as soon as you touch the leg. Second, when the motor is off, when you have no batteries to put in this thing or the batteries are dead, this thing won't even stay together. It will just flatten out completely. Like all these bits in the legs will just return to base mode. Because there's tension on the motor, because the motor is on right now, he's staying upright. But nothing pegs into place in the legs. I mean, these are all supposed to peg into place and stay right there. Doesn't happen. He can hold his guns in this mode, both of them. And, forgive me, but I forget which arm it is, but one of the arms has a button that will turn on a little red light. Ah, there it is. It's his right arm. I don't know how well this is going to show up. So let me zoom in and we will see if it shows up at all. There's a button right up here on his shoulder. Now when it's completely dark in here, it looks okay. Or if you have maybe the Sky Saber sword, it looks alright. But that's what these two things do. I prefer to just split them apart and just leave them attached to his robot hands behind his head. So his big gun, which does look good in this mode, and you can take this off, which I really am thankful for. So you put that in, and then more of his gun will light up, but really his whole thing is supposed to light up. Why that shoots randomly, I will never know. That does go off. If you push that button, that goes off randomly. So, in this mode, he doesn't actually look that bad. And I forgot to deploy his head wings, or his head pipes. There are some major issues, other than the pants. There's a massive hole back here. I mean, it's just huge, and it's just empty in his back. His entire back... Shut up! His entire back section is completely empty. His posability is his arms can move. That's the other issue. He falls off these pegs all the time. Just stay in there and shut up. The other huge issue with this figure is... Excuse me while I turn that off. That's one of the other issues. You could just touch the figure on the side in this form and it starts making those shooting noises for no reason. There's nothing you're doing that's really triggering it. The other major issue on my figure is he can't move his arms or his shoulders. They do not turn forward at all. They forgot to include a joint that allows the legs to point forward. So that is as far posability-wise as he gets. He can't even shoot straight. If there's a little robot down here, he might be able to shoot Megatron in the crotch. I don't know how effective that's going to be, but that's all he can do. And that's the other thing. You try to move anything on this figure, and pieces just fly off. Now, I admit, I could be doing it wrong. I could definitely be moving some things incorrectly on this guy. That's not out of the realm of possibility. And considering my hate for this thing, I wouldn't put it past me. But this thing is just, I'm convinced this thing is just engineered poorly. This thing, when it originally transformed, the first one I had, I think it transformed for the third time, it got stuck, started grinding, and the trailer burst into flames. I'm not making that up. So, this thing is a pile of crap. I cannot recommend this. In fact, I go as far as to say, stay as far away as you can from this thing. If you're going to get this figure, just get the prime part. Don't get the trailer. The prime part is meh. It's not very good, but when you combine it with some other figures, it turns into a passable figure. As it stands as a set, this thing is total garbage. It doesn't even look good. This gold in here has faded and is just abominable looking. This is not a prime figure. This is a piece of crap.